Hi, I'm Anthony Originello, CEO of the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources for BC and Yukon. We represent more than 8,000 members, and as the organization dedicated to advancing the HR profession through education, advocacy, awareness, professional development, as well as our recognized and impactful CPHR designation, we are proud to be a sponsor of this show. We have been the voice of the HR profession since 1942. Learn more about us at cphrbc.ca.
In this episode of Careers That Matter, I'm joined by Omri Haiven of the Clean Energy Research Group. Omri, welcome.
Thank you.
So what exactly is your job?
Well, I'm a contractor for the Clean Energy Research Group. I'm also an associate with them, so I do research and also I do knowledge mobilization. I also do engagement with different communities, and more often than not, I just tend to do a lot of talking about what I'm passionate about, which is agrivoltaics.
So are you out in the field, or are you in a lab, or are you stuck in a library or in front of a computer screen, like consuming information?
These days, it is a lot of computer screens. I'm also meeting with a lot of people from very diverse backgrounds and very diverse communities.
So do you have a typical day?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take yesterday. What did you do?
Well, yesterday was a long weekend.
Okay, so you actually take weekends then?
Well...
Because if you were to ask me, I was in here working.
Yeah, well, I was recovering from a cold, probably because I was working too much. So let's sort of speak to that somewhat. But yeah, I mean, I am constantly working because it's a passion and it's also my work. And so I'm constantly trying to uncover new things, to make new connections with people, to sort of see what types of cooperation I can endeavor to create to further clean energy and especially to further agrivoltaics.
Do you work in an office or do you work from home?
I work mostly from home, but I have office space available at Simon Fraser University.
Huh. Are you a part of a team, or are you kind of out there on your own?
I work across several different teams, but mostly with the Clean Energy Research Group, I work with the director. His name is Andy Hira, and he is a professor at the Department of Political Science at Simon Fraser University.
Okay, so you're part of a team where there's a collective objective, and you're exploring the area of photovoltaics and agriculture.
Yeah, that's sort of the intersection of my expertise, from a social science perspective.
So when did you start this research?
I've been looking into this ever since my master's a few years ago, and I've also, as a farmer and a food security expert, I've been working on that for around 10 to 15 years. So, my background is more so trying to figure out how to feed communities, both from a distribution standpoint, production standpoint, and consumption standpoint. And that has led me towards agrivoltaics as a multi-solution.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. Where'd you go to high school?
In Nova Scotia, in Halifax.
Oh, really? Scotia, yeah. And you grew up going, okay, I want to get into agrivoltaics and set out a course to get there.
I don't think it existed in a popular concept at that point, but when I went to university, I helped to start 2 food cooperatives. And the idea behind those was to take food security into our own hands and have a bit more of a sense of empowerment around where the food was coming from, how the workers were treated from the start of that production to the consumption by the students. And that was at Dalhousie and University of King's College. And both of those food co-ops are still in existence today.
So what ignited your interest in this?
I found that food was the best way to bring people together. It's something that everyone cares deeply about. It's a conversation starting point, and it really says a lot about the world. the way that our food is produced.
Okay, so you graduate from university, you've brought together these food co-ops. What'd you do next?
I worked in local health food distribution, trying to help local entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground and distribute across the Maritimes. And then I also worked as a cook in restaurants. And then I worked as a farmer for a long time, and then for non-government organizations doing food security. And then I ended up working at a neighborhood house here in Vancouver doing food security work, even during the pandemic when it was quite crucial.
Well, let's go back to the farming. What were you farming and where?
I was doing what is called a community-supported agriculture box, as well as a market stand and restaurant supply in the Annapolis Valley, using a whole host of different types of crops. And so, I was working. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
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 So what motivated you was you were wanting to find ways to help people have access to food and to have food security.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people who go into agriculture and farming, I just wanted to know what was at the foundation of the food that I was eating. I wanted to get more in touch with that food, with nature, and the way that you can work with the soil, with the sort of variables in a specific climate to grow great food for people, and then to have that benefit of providing people with food security and creating food sovereignty, which is sort of the control over your food, through my active participation in that process.
So what brought you to British Columbia?
So I came here by way of Thunder Bay, where I also briefly worked at a farm NGO, and here I had heard that, it was a beautiful place, that there was a great agricultural scene, local agricultural scene. It was a very progressive place, and that there were a lot of opportunities for people getting involved in local agriculture and climate and agriculture nexus.
Good environment to be working in.
It's a wonderful place, and I really don't regret it. It's been 7 years. Yeah.
So you get here, and what was the first thing that you did in British Columbia?
I had a backyard farming operation. So I went around almost all of East Vancouver, knocking on people's doors, asking them, do you want me to farm in your backyard? And in exchange, I will supply you with produce. And so I did that for a summer, and I realized that it was not economically viable for me. And I had to sort of reassess what I was doing, because I was having, again, to work to support my farming habit. I was having to work as a restaurant cook in order to also support farming, and that wasn't viable for me. So I reassessed, and I went into food security through the Neighborhood House Network.
Huh. I like that my farming habit. You just love it.
Well, I love farming. I love gardening, but you have to make it viable for people. And there's a lot of passionate farmers out there that are just holding on these days and waiting for some sort of economic capacity to make their farming viable.
So was it that tension between a passion for farming and the very challenging economics of it that then led you to get into this, looking at, well, what if we introduce photovoltaics into those fields? Can we help to change the equation?
That was exactly it. So when I first heard about agrivoltaics, it really clicked for me that here was a solution that could provide a secondary income source for farmers while also protecting their harvest during this era of increasing climate instability. So, I decided that I wouldn't go back to school until I had a really good reason to do it. And there it was.
Huh. So you returned to school, and then that led to the position that you have at the
Clean Energy Research Group. Yeah,
Wow.
I did my master's with a team from political science and communication. And so, I put that out and then was able to get a grant through the Real Estate Foundation of BC and to support my research.
So what do you think is the most important thing about yourself that keeps pushing you forward to want to learn more, to help solve this challenge about food accessibility and food security? You know, like we're in trouble in Canada, and like we need people like you who are doing it. But what is it about you that you've discovered that you go, nope, this is my calling?
I think a lot of people, when they see problems that feel overwhelming, they actually turn away. And I think I don't blame anyone for that. But for me, the best way for me to feel at ease, or at least somewhat at ease with a problem, is to go right into it and to go through it and to understand its sort of structural components. And so for me, agrivoltaics has access to all of the different structural components of the current climate chaos that we're seeing, the agricultural instability that we're seeing, and the energy instability that we're foreseeing right now at this juncture.
Well, it's an exciting place to be, and thanks for giving us a glimpse into your current job and the path that brought you there.
Thank you.